stop peaceful demonstrations called to protest against the continued detention for more than 7 years of the separatist leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who's on trial facing terrorism charges. In the Abuja city centre, heavily armed police, supported by soldiers in a massive show of force, patrolled with water cannon and armoured trucks, firing volleys of tear gas wherever they saw protesters trying to gather. Mr. Kanu leads the banned Indigenous People of Biafra movement, or IPOB, a group that advocates for the secession of southeast Nigeria. Mr. Kanu's supporters say his detention in the last decade is politically motivated. They want him released and the 7 counts of terrorism against him, to which Mr. Kanu has pleaded not guilty, quashed.
Nnamdi Kanu was first arrested in October 2015 upon his return from the UK. He was later released on bail in April 2017 on health grounds. Later that year, his trial was disrupted when soldiers invaded his home in Abia State, leading to the deaths of some of his followers. Mr. Kanu subsequently fled the country, but was rearrested in Kenya in June 2021 and extraordinarily renditioned to Nigeria. In April 2022, the Federal High Court struck out 8 of the 15 charges against him, citing a lack of merit. Later, in October 2022, the Court of Appeal ordered his immediate release and quashed the remaining charges. However, a year later, the Supreme Court overturned that decision, allowing the federal government to continue his trial on the remaining counts. Mr. Kanu's continued detention has sparked growing public outcry and renewed calls for his release, culminating in today's protest. Rita Osakwe, Arise News.
So, after today's demonstration, will there be more protests, or perhaps a protest epiphany, a eureka moment that will lead to Mr. Kanu's release? Well, for more on this, I'm joined now in the studio by the main organizer of today's Free Nnamdi Kanu protest, the political activist and former presidential candidate, Omoyele Sowore. And I'm also joined by the public affairs analyst, Mazi Nnamdi Dixon Iregu, who is both a member of the People's Democratic Party and an obedient, and who took part in today's demonstration. Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
You look a bit red-eyed there. I wonder why.
Well, it's been a lot of tear gas inhalation today, and a lot of attacks by the Nigerian police. So I haven't done anything else today than just protest. And we also ended up at the FCT command of Nigerian police to get some of the lawyers, because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's main lawyer was arrested, a lawyer Jima, because his younger brother was arrested, and 11 others. We went to see them, and they gave us a hope, false hope, that they'll be released tonight. But we found out on our way here that they'll be moved to a place they call Abattoir, which is one of the reasons why there was NSAS in 2020. It's a major torture chamber of the Nigerian police. So they also tear gassed us right in front of their office this evening.
So more than 7 years in detention, almost a decade in fact, and he's still not been found guilty of any crime. And your contention is that in line with the Nigerian constitution, which says that a man is innocent until proven guilty and which calls for the speedy dispensation of justice, it's time to set this captive free. Is that a fair assessment and the reason you led today's protest?
Yes, it is because also the Court of Appeal in 2022 did take a decision, a decisive decision, that having been extraordinarily renditioned from Kenya, kidnapped is the other word for it, there are no charges that can hold in that court, and he was asked to be released. That judgment ought to have taken effect immediately was given. But the Nigerian government did not honor that judgment. They claimed they were going on appeal. An appeal does not constitute a stay when personal liberty is involved. He's been discharged. There's nothing that could have held him except to get a brand new detention order, which they didn't, because they were not interested in any trial. They were interested in subduing and subjugating Nnamdi Kanu for committing a crime against the real estate called Nigeria, which is to say, look, we may want to think about our own country, considering that this country has no respect for our dignity, our culture, and our safety. So I have laid this out before, and I have also looked at the case notes. I worked with the lawyers. I am in a position to tell you when I see a useless case, because I get charged severally for this kind of frivolous cases. Nnamdi Kanu is not being held for committing terrorism. No, he's being held because he is an Igbo man who wants Nigeria to either allow justice to the Igbo man or let the Igbo man be. That is the crime Nnamdi Kanu committed. It's a crime committed with a microphone, not an AK-47.
Right. Okay, I'm going to come back to you in a minute, but Mazi Dixon, I wonder what your reaction, because you kind of lost your voice.
Yes,
there.
I did.
I wonder what your reaction is to the fact that the march that you attended was tumbled, let me put it that way, by the police. They fired tear gas to disperse the protesters, and you apparently fell victim to that show of force and to that tear gas. And clearly, I wonder whether that cast a shadow on things for you, how much it did cast a shadow.
Charles, please permit me, first of all, to commend my brother here, Sowore. I was born 7 years Civil War. And for the first time in my adult life, I felt loved as an Igbo man by other Nigerians. Another Nigerian took it upon himself to say enough of this balkanization of fatherland.
Well, that's a bit of an exaggeration, isn't it?
But
Igbos are across the country doing business and attending to their affairs.
That is earned by merit. I'm talking about someone sacrificing his own liberty to say there's a brother in there, because an injury to one should be an injury to all. If we are to build our country, then indeed we must have that understanding that together we should, not by letting some people out of this whole process. So, my brother Sowore, thank you. Thank you for showing love to a fellow countryman, because it's difficult. Look at what Nigerians are going through.
But to be fair to Sowore, he's shown that same love to
No. I'm talking for myself as an Igbo man.
Okay.
Because the case here is that Nnamdi Kanu being incarcerated today is simply because he comes from that part of Nigeria. Because what's his crime? It's not just about, oh, you're not treating my people fine or not treating my people well. It's also about, this is not how to build a nation. So if we can't build this nation the way it should be, then we can't stay here. And there's nothing wrong with that. And if you think there's something wrong with it, call him to the table and discuss what are the issues. Okay, if you're not comfortable, what can we do better to ensure that some of those grounds of yours can be addressed and all that. So sincerely, today again, being that it was peaceful, because it was well declared by the convener of this very protest that it is a peaceful protest, and it was peaceful. But go around Abuja, if this was how the Nigerian police force was tackling insecurity in our country, we won't be here. We won't be discussing insecurity in Nigeria. Nobody could move. We just assembled, and before you knew it, they started, not just tear gas, live bullets were released. Not just at one location, even when we now said, okay, since you have stopped us from convening around this so-called big men area, we're moving to the people. We moved from there to Beggar, roundabout, and then from there we moved to, they came there and moved us to Otako. They still came that way, tear gassed and all of that, and then moved also to Apo and all that. You now wonder, what is it that the Nigerian government really wants from the Nigerian people?
Right.
For us to be violent? Is it because we decided to be peaceful? Right. So indeed, it's unfortunate that this is the country that we found ourselves, but it cannot continue this way.
Well, Mr. Sowore, let me come back to you. The protests obviously gained a lot of traction on social media. You're very influential on social media and beyond. And it probably alarmed the government, especially after the U.S. Embassy cautioned its citizens to stay away from the protest locations in Abuja. Were you surprised that
your to social media? You can hear a respond.
Call for a protest gained as many followers as quickly as it did?
Well, it wasn't only on social media. It happened everywhere around Abuja.
All these people, Charles a clown. Sowore gets the picture right there. Say, call this guy. We don't just the social media, but it's okay.
We had 6 spots where we had thousands of people converge in march. We were at Utako.
Wow. Oh my. We are in trouble.
We were at Apple, which has the largest crowd.
Turnout, yeah.
We were at Gudu, and we then relocated to the FCT command where we were tear gas, but we were attacked ruthlessly everywhere we went. What these people are telling you is that you cannot be a peaceful person in Nigeria and get away with it.
Yeah.
You can only be violent and get away with it, because if we were terrorists or bandits, as they called them, we could have been walking around Abuja today with ammunition, and nobody will come near us. But fortunately, or unfortunately, people like me have chosen a non-violent approach to resolving issues. But that doesn't mean that a generation is not coming that will not accept this nonsense.
But I mean, you know that what happens when these protests take place is that they tend to metamorphose into something bigger. And the government knows that beyond the specific case of Nnamdi Kanu, you and other opposition politicians, he's an opposition politician, you often intend to wake up the spirit of the masses who say, you know, they're fed up with bad governance. I mean, your movement, by the way, is called Revolution Now.
Yes, and I won't deny that. In fact, I think the traction around this particular protest was beyond just Nnamdi Kanu. People are fed up with the system, and they cannot deal with the fact that somebody who hasn't committed any offense known to law, an offense that is triable, that's the way I'll put it, is held in detention. Whereas that same week, the president is pardoning drug dealers, kidnappers and murderers, and Nnamdi Kanu, who you can't establish any offense against, is kept perpetually detained, he's tortured, he's harassed, his lawyers, his lead lawyers were speaking, is in detention.
I have to say that the time is ridiculously long.
Yes.
I mean, upwards of 7 years in detention. I mean, it doesn't make any sense at all.
You see, the larger Nigerian nation is itself an open prison. I spent 5 years here over a bogie.
So sort of Gaza.
Yes.
That was
But Gaza is better than Nigeria in some ways.
I wouldn't go that far, to be honest.
Gaza, throughout this period of bombardment, had electricity. so I had some kind of water supply that you can't get here. The sewage was built. I am not in any way saying this, so you don't misunderstand me in the future. But Nigeria you can't even define what is wrong with Nigeria. It's like a nation that is at war, with itself and against itself. Yeah. And when you see this happen, what we have experienced with Nnamdi Kanu, with terrorists walking around, the federal government even went and attended the naming ceremony of one of the bandits after they met in Katsina, you would ask yourself, why am I here? Why am I in a country like this? And that is probably why most people call Nnamdi Kanu a prophet, that he saw into the future that this country is not the kind of country you want to have your children in. And there's nothing wrong if you want your own country. This international law recognizes that. If I declare Sowore Republic tomorrow, what are you going to do to me? Arrest me and detain me perpetually? No. It is not done. So what we're saying here, when you see injustice, you know it, and you don't need to be told that the way and manner injustices are handled in Nigeria have colorations. Sometimes it may not be ethnic, but it might be religious, it might be political. I was around throughout Abiola's persecution. Abiola did not declare more than saying, I'm president because I won an election. He died in detention. They kept saying, we were fighting in those days, oh, Abiola is in detention, Abiola is being handled by the courts, it's being handled by the court. He wasn't being tried. The Supreme Court had gone on break. So did the same thing that I'm alarmed, and I'm saying this to anybody who is watching, I'm alarmed, I'm shocked that we're in a country where there's anybody who feels what is being done to Nnamdi Kanu is okay. You know, and I say this particularly of my Yoruba brothers who make these comments. Some of them even have the audacity to send me messages personally. Oh, you know, they'll be sending you all these videos, you know, because your brother is in power. But I was the only person when Sunday Igboho's house was raided and all his people were, including his cat, was killed. I was the only person in this Abuja who went to the Federal High Court who pushed the DSS out of the front of the courtroom. And that was the day his people were granted bail. Nobody talked about. Yeah. There are Yoruba activists who went and invaded a radio station in Ibadan. Have you heard about them anymore? Even Sunday Igboho, my brother, is back. He's actually, you know, he's moving around freely. Nnamdi Kanu has never carried a weapon before. Most of these guys have done things like that. Why are we treating the Igbo man differently? And I'm not saying that to whip up something because I'm ashamed, of course, of these Southeastern leaders. Because when I was on your show last time, you remember, I was saying that Nnamdi Kanu is being kept in detention deliberately by Southeastern politicians. They showed themselves in the last few days. The deputy speaker was asking people not to join peaceful protests. You know, all the governors kept quiet about it. The Ohaneze Ndigbo person, you know, I heard is, you know, is a wicked version of Ohaneze Ndigbo. He's saying that nobody should go out to fight for the freedom of a person who's innocent of any crime. And we are here saying it is normal. It is normal. Even the policemen who were shooting at us today were fighting for them a month ago to get their pension and gratuity. They were the ones shooting at us. They saw me today, came close to me, and they were shooting directly at me. 4 times today, the policemen I fought for. There's something wrong with this country, sir.
Let me ask you this, Dixon Irebu. If Nnamdi Kanu is released today, do you believe that it'll stop his group from calling for the Southeast to secede from Nigeria, assuming that is the issue? Or is it something that is beyond him alone, and therefore he should not be held entirely responsible for it? Because I think somebody made the point earlier today that you had the Biafra war before him, and of course groups like Masob, etc., before IPOB.
Yes. If Nnamdi Kanu is released today, first what it will bring is a separation from the call for secession or for the call for Biafra away from the criminals who have wrecked the Southeast today. What we want is to redeem the most peaceful part of Nigeria, which Southeast used to be before 2015 that APC took over our government and Buhari continued with whatever, Buhari started with whatever it is that he had against the Southeasterners. But we thought, okay, Tinubu has come. What is he doing there? If he wants to unite the country, why not bring everybody's interests to the table? So release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu may not necessarily end call for secession or call for Biafra. Biafra is no more about secession, really. Biafra is now more like a religion. Because, Charles, 3.5 million Nigerians were slaughtered in that war. There is no household in Igbo land today you go to that you won't have one person or the other that was lost in their family. So it will be difficult, therefore, to forget Biafra. What will bring about an end to the call for secession will be this country allowing for equity for all, justice for all, fairness for all. That is what will end any form of secession, whether it is Yoruba nation or Biafra nation. I am not part of call for any nation at all. I believe in Nigeria, but not this kind of Nigeria. I want a Nigeria where everybody can at least go to court, ask for justice, and get it. But now it is the highest bidder. We're not running democracy anymore in our country, because if this was democracy, freedom of association and protest as we had today and all of that would have been allowed. What we have are plutocrats who are afraid of the people, because today we saw how scared the elites are. They are scared stiff. They don't want us to get together to indeed demand for our common good. So I am only saying that releasing Nnamdi Kanu so that the criminals can be treated as criminals, so that people will not be committing the kind of crimes that we're seeing in the Southeast in the name of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And I don't think, if the commander-in-chief really understands what he's commanding, I don't think he should continue to give deaf ears to the call for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He should be released as immediately as possible.
Mr. Sowore, I wonder how much you were influenced by protests in other parts of the world. I mean, we've had Madagascar recently, we've had Nepal. I mean, these are the kind of things that maybe worry the government. Protests involving people known as Gen Z, and I mean, we saw a whole bunch of them coming here with you. One assumes, of course, as you have yourself repeatedly pointed out, that your approach is different. Because in Nepal, for instance, they burned down everything. But I understand that obviously you want your protests to be peaceful and pacific.
Yes, because I often stated that justice for all, for me, is not specific enough. You know, it's a bogey. And we have to specifically ask for things that would advance the progress of Nigerians or the people who live within the boundaries of a country called Nigeria. I do not believe in violence. That I've stated, but I've been protesting since I was 21 years old. And that's to remind people who are with even Dixon and I, were arrested in 2021 by Hassan, the DPO of Secretariat.
Nnamdi was brought back from Kenya.
We went to attend Nnamdi Kanu's trial. Yeah. So I've been at this for a long time. But you know, anybody who is discerning, who is the leader of Nigeria, should know that these young people are watching what's happening in Nepal and other places. Yeah. And, you know, deploying people on social media to discourage them is not going to discourage them. We now heard that there's a coup or an attempted coup. So everything, you know, the jigsaws are coming into place.
Those are reports that are verified. Well, and let me just point out that the Defense Department denied that any such thing took place.
Well, you know, anything they deny is something you should believe, especially when it comes to those kind of issues.
But we have to kind of balance the story.
So, but what I'm saying here is that Nigerians are watching, and you can't use barbed wire to separate them from their leaders forever. One day, they will step over the barbed wires, the tear gas will not work, it won't stop anybody, water cannons will be useless.
Even the bullets, how many?
Even bullets, the moment you kill a few people,
but I'm wondering, I mean, you said you've been protesting since you were 21.
Yes.
I mean, do you, after all those years, do you think that people have a disproportionate amount of power to effect change? Because it doesn't seem to be happening in this, if you like, bifurcated, many channels political world that Nigeria has become, or Nigeria is.
If there was no protest in Nigeria, Nigeria would have gone completely to the dogs. If there hasn't been protests over separate different issues.
Even the president today
Nigeria wouldn't have
protest.
You know, left military dictatorship. Yeah. Maybe we'll be like Cameroon now, where the person who is president is dead, brain dead, but alive to elections. So nobody should discountenance protests. I met Goodluck Jonathan recently, and I'm glad Aisha is here with us. She has been abusing me about it on her YouTube show, and on a lighter note. And I said, can you come protest?
It's not fair to say that she can't reply to you right away.
She's my friend, I'm just saying.
Yeah, okay.
But when we spoke up to the point, I said, can you join this protest? He said, no, I'm a former head of state. I can't participate in a protest. I said, but if you run for election and you lose, the first thing you do is to go and protest. Protest, there's nobody in Nigeria that has not participated in protests, from president to high school kids. Buhari was a protester in this country until he became president. Tinubu was funding all the protesters in Nigeria since June 12 and beyond, up to 2015 until they captured power and they now hated protesters. The ones that cannot protest always reach out to people who can help them protest whenever they're in trouble.
Yeah.
I get that from all these people all the time. This Nnamdi Kanu that we're talking about once protested on behalf of Orji Zokalu.
Yeah.
When he was being tried for corruption.
Yeah.
Orji Zokalu is now one of the people who says, oh, Nnamdi Kanu should let the court process be completed. But when he was tried for corruption, what did he do? He ran to the APC because he cannot trust Nigerian courts. These are the kind of people you have in these political parties who are so dishonest and hypocritical.
They don't care about
And
us.
like I said, there's a generation watching. And that generation is what the biblical people say that the next Pharaoh may not know Joseph.
Yes.
Abi?
Yes.
The Pharaoh.
Yeah, Pharaoh.
Pharaoh who knows
Right.
that.
Let me ask you this, because very briefly, because we're almost out of time. A lot of dust has been raised by today's protest, no question about that. But is it likely to make things better or worse for Mr. Kanu? 30 seconds.
It should make it better because the statement was loud and very resounding. I believe those living in their high fences in the villa heard very loudly that the people are demanding for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. I just want to believe that they should respond to that.
A final word from you, Mr. Sowore. What happens next with your stated desire to mount pressure on the government to release Nnamdi Kanu?
If they don't, there will be a bigger murder of all protests. Again, we will announce the date, but let me say this. I'll give them a period of grace to get the acts together and do this as soon as possible. Otherwise, we'll be back.
Okay, on that note, I want to thank both of you very much indeed, and to say that I think a lot of Nigerians would agree that you're both very courageous.
Thank you.
Omoyele Sowore is a political activist, former presidential candidate, and main organizer of today's Free Nnamdi Kanu protests. And Mazi Nnamdi Dixon Irebu is both a member of the PDP and an obedient, and he took part in today's demonstrations. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you for having us.
Mazi Nnamdi Kanu.
Charles ended the interview by commending them to be very courageous. Indeed. Are they not courageous? To my brothers, to my people that understand grammar, right? To those that understand grammar, he was commended for being courageous. Anybody who have access, connection, and the kind of resources that is available to Sowore, we do the same thing that Sowore is doing. We have the same courage. Courage doesn't take anything outside having access to resources and connection to the higher power, whatever that may be like. 99% of the time, that's pretty much what you need to be courage, especially when your courage is directed to power. 99% of the times are just not him to a particular solution, which is the situation of a Sowore. Now, am I saying that's bad? No, I mean, can't tell anybody to to live outside outside his preview. You cannot see beyond your enclosed environment, so to speak. So the idea that they are courageous, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, anybody can do it. The next person that we are going to see that will take after Sowore, because he make reference to generations are watching, people are watching. The next person in line to play the role Sowore is playing right now is David O'Day. Because all of them are the same sponsors now they get. The only reason you are not seeing David O'Day on ground now is because their own legal defense is still being put together. They never reached that. It has not got to the stage that we cover African journalists and activists and you name it, just like the way Sowore. If you remember, Sowore came in pretty much at the peak of internet, right? So that's when Sahara reporters never do advertisements, never take money from government, but for just pure donation and grants, it worth millions of dollars. So it's the same props they are propping David Day up with this West African Weekly, right? So, and again, David Day belongs to the social media generation, right? Showing internet products, the foundations that back, the generation of Showaries that make his Sahara reporter successful, which now stands as the foundation, the backdrop of his next level of activism. Is the same thing that is coming with the video day, but this time around, stack, what they call it, Substacks, right? Substacks. If you go do your research well, they are already developing legal system. Currently, their legal system, their legal office of that Substacks already backing and defending their journalist activists in America and a few other countries in the West. So the next shift is to have them support their clients in Africa, which they've been doing. They've been doing happen to be one of them. Now, what am I saying here? By the time that legal system, just like Sowore, Sowore is always out there, in and out of court, in and out of jail. Nobody they ask who is paying for his legal team, who is paying for all that, right? Of course, now donation and grants, which again supports my my claim at this point. So that his own generation, they'd already cover pretty much his legal. So it can be on ground and do whatever the heck, still and still get away with it. We'll get to that side of getting away with it, because all of them, they're the same under the same tutelage. They are all USAID products, from the current sitting president to those who are running to take over from them. They are all USAID products. Daniel Tubb, Sowore should be offered an appointment. I think it's evidence again Tinubu APC sponsored their refusal to give him an appointment. He finally admitted. Nah, he cannot take an appointment. I totally agree with you, how you are about that. He can't. If he take an appointment, that is the end of his he has cut himself loose from that legal defense, from that lofty grant that is coming from the big NGOs to support this foundation, right? So it's pretty much like a competition among them who are under that. So you have a standard that you have to meet. Right? If you don't meet that, your grants will be fluctuating. Now, if he take appointment from the establishment that he was built to antagonize, was built to push back to politics or distract the average Nigerian, however angle they see Sowore performance from, once he accept an appointment, that leverage don't go, unless the backers, those who are sponsoring him, now say, hey, your next assignment is for you to go into the system, right? And perform from the inside. That's a different ball game. Then means it's sponsorship will still be going, because that's a different level of these USAID products, right? Those who are operating from the system are different from those who are paid to be antagonists and protesters, you name it. Those who are in the religious angle, so everybody get role that they are playing. So, but I see your reasoning. I agree with you, but I'm telling you now that if he take that, so is that if he go into the system, is his ways of operation will be different, right? Now let's go into this their interview, right? I think I'll put it out there that more than half of Nigerians don't know say they don't know Nnamdi Kanu or they don't know say in jail. Because we often get carried away the kind of clicks, headlines that all these news carry. Yes, now only where they consume all these things, no reach like 50 million Nigerians. So the majority of the people are still being locked away from the system. Right. So and I would go a step further to say now the other role of the likes of Sowore is to keep that locked, permanently locked. Just keep those people, keep more than half of Nigerians away from the system. Right, to make things easier for them. So that's why if you see how come Sowore has, again, I talk and say the kind of resources available to Sowore, if it's available to 99% of Nigeria, they will do the same thing, right? They will be out there in front of the power, challenging power. If really Sowore's job is not to maintain the status quo as it is now, to keep the majority out of the system, understanding the system and how the system works, for God's sake, it's 2025. If you want to actually, if the goal is to actually bring awareness to the injustice that is being done to Nnamdi Kanu, this guy will go from every local government to every local government, just like they do when they are running for election. When time to campaign don't reach, they don't just go from TV to TV, platform to platform, urban markets to urban markets. No, these motherfuckers go from villages to villages. So if you really want to bring awareness that will be meaningful to what Nnamdi Kanu is going through, this protest will not even take place in Abuja. Therefore, it's just like you having a concert. Therefore, have a stage at every town square in the villages and have their comrades, because it can be everywhere, but it can be everywhere at the same time, right? It can be everywhere, it can be everywhere at the same time. All of them come assemble for Abuja. They would have democratized themselves, send everybody to each town and deliver the message, because that's what protest is all about. Bring awareness, educate, because not be everybody that hits the streets know actually what is going on. Because the goal of protest is to bring people more into the folks. So you go set them up, they deliver message at the same time, the same day. That's where you will stretch the police. That's where you will stretch the distractors. That's where you will stretch the opponent, because at this point, the establishment is your opponent. The establishment cannot concentrate in all these places. The resources they go spend. So rather than spending more resources in antagonizing you people, since it's peaceful protest, they would rather spend less resources and just be part of it and observe, because they cannot be everywhere at the same time. I mean, well, all this thing no be rocket science. He knows it. The effort he put in promoting this protest, it's like promoting a Hollywood movie, or Davido won't drop album, or that's exactly what he did, right? He followed the same route that we understand it. If now somebody will really mean well, do it like the way pastors, the churches do it. If the churches won't win congregation, if the churches won't preach the gospel to people, not be to the converted already, they are not going to be preaching to the Muslims. You don't ever see a Muslim, a Christian, that their goal of today's message, their goal of today's program, their goal of the same NASVG is to get Muslim converted. No. It doesn't. The same thing. The Muslim never do the same thing. The Muslim know they aim to convert the Christian. If it happen along the line, fine. They go to the unbelievers, whatever that means to them. They go into the community, into the society where people who are not there, who are not familiar to that way of life, this time are Christian, Christ-like. Right? They say go fishing. They go outside in the street and talk to people who don't know the people who don't already understand how the game works. So the same thing, these so-called politicians, these so-called activists, that's what they need to do. Go to the forgotten people and preach to them. The goal for you to disrupt the system, you have to bring more people in, because the system goal is to streamline their class. How do I put this? The goal of the system is to make sure to keep the majority out of how it works, so that the little that the ogas, the big brothers in the West, are allowing them to spend will be enough for them to share. So the goal of those who wants to take power or wants to change the system should be the opposite of that. It's to bring more people into the system. More, but they won't do it. That's what organizing is about. You go there and organize the unorganized. They are unorganized because they have, that's what people like Stebano call the low propensity of information voters. They lack information, not due because of they are not educated, they don't know how to speak English like my governor, or they are stupid. No, it's because there's a deliberate attempt to make it so. When Brexit happened in Britain, the Queen Elizabeth at that time came out and said it is due to the too much of information at the base. The base means the ordinary people, right? It is the too much of information that is available to them that made them revolt against the system, and it was successful. That was the pretty much, they capitalize on the internet being open and just they feed everybody, and it works. The same thing that is happening now. So the goal of organizing is to organize people and feed them the information that will make them relevant to the system. If we go back to all this democracy of the thing, before now only people will get money, we get land, we get property, now you participate. Well, one will say thanks to the civil rights movement of the 60s in America that actually broke that padlock. And again, the civil rights movement in America did not focus on the converted. They focus on the people who don't even know who they were, not because they were born like that, but because the system deliberately to flip against them, miseducate them. So that's all you need to, know about these all these people who are always in the front of our in our face every day. I want to lead. I want to this. No, come they preach to me. Nothing you are going to tell me that I don't know or I don't understand. Go to somebody who have no clue. But that takes time. It takes resources. That's why these political merchants, these jobbers, they should worry them. They don't want to engage yourself in that because it takes time to actually achieve results. And the possibility that they might not be alive to actually see that result is there. Daniel said, did you watch Sheon or last podcast where Sowore admitted that those in power now were the ones bankrolling him? The Ononugas, Babajide, etc. were using him on behalf of the team. Of course, now all this thing some person we don't know how all this is. In fact, he even said it on this interview that Tinubu was one sponsoring the protest that time. Who are the one protesting? Nobody then they protest. But we are too educated. Sorry, we are brainwashed to always approach all these things in a very critical way. It's just to make the ordinary person think that things that they are seeing, it's an illusion. Right? That's why a leader, Nigerian leader, will come to TV to say Nigerian leadership is the problem. They are the leaders that we are telling you we are the problem. But at the same time, for some reason, when they hear them, we could analyze rubbish. No, it is what it is. Again, one has to go back to 1984, right, to actually understand where we are today. So they tell you who they bankroll them, but for some reason, we want to show our superiority of intellect. Say no, if we analyze this in this some kind, we put some kind of formula. Who want to do? We say we are making. That's when, as if we're actually making sense. So if your goal is to bring awareness to Nnamdi Kanu injustice, you move from Lagos to Abata Onitsha. We already know. These people already know that Nnamdi Kanu is jail, either through justice or injustice. Everybody, majority of people in Lagos are aware. Those in Abuja, all the 36 states in the country, majority of people that reside in the state capitals are aware of what is going on with Nnamdi Kanu. So why going to meet them again, tell them the same thing? Go to the lesser people when it comes to information. I'm using that word not because they as a human are less, but they don't have information. Even most of the information they are exposed to now fake and just propaganda, deliberately so anyway. Now another thing that this protest was trying, I mean, according to Sowore, they go, no, well, they didn't say it out loud, but I think their goal is also to expose Obi. I mean, they are using a very broad language now, the South-East leaders. Bullshit. Right? Obi is the target. And I said it before when these promotions for the protest was being carried out. I said, this is, no matter how you go around it, Obi is the target. Not is the only target, but it's part of the whole energy or inspiration behind this protest. Is Obi for so many reasons, right? Whether we like it or not, the only threat to the system, even though I am critical, I am skeptical about that threat, is Obi. Is part and parcel of the system, right? But for the fact that he is ready to, in a way, go against the system by way of I don't see that expose or waking the dissolution of those who have given, especially the young people, trying to let them understand that for this to change, they don't have to give up. I might not be, articulating Obi message well or where he stand, but his constituency is still the Nigerian youth, which where his Sowore strived at the beginning of this shenanigan. 2018, 2019 was all over the world, being powered by, again, the NGOs and the rest of them. But I think he got carried away. He never saw anybody coming to challenge that space or to compete for that space, the young Nigerian space with him. And most importantly, if anybody is coming to challenge that space with him, it's not going to come from the establishment. And that is what Sowore can still don't. He couldn't, up to now, he's still trying to say, come, nah, this is a nightmare. This is not happening. This guy is part and parcel of the system that I'm trying to expose. In fact, matter of fact, he's one of the dangerous ones. How come you young folks are still gravitating towards him? Well, because the young folks now, as I said, have more information than they used to during your reign as the chief propaganda, being the Sowore reporter was at that time. Every young Nigerian wake up in the morning and look forward to what Sowore reporter is going to report or say about anything. But that process has been democratized thanks to social media. So Sowore still cannot fathom me that, oh, maybe I have to change my strategy. Maybe I have to share my grants, my earnings with others, so I can still, be relevant. So Obi coming to the space from the inside and just, sweep the Nigerian youth of Sowore's grip is something that is still fighting to come in time with. But he forgot that it is the same system that is powering him that is also behind the young Nigerian attitude of teaching him to the Obi. It's the same system that was used to prop him and the Sahara reporters up that is being used to prop the obedience up. Because the same role that Sahara reporters play, it's the same role that Nigeria Watch is playing. It's the same role. Just that now, it's not just one way it used to be like Sahara reporters. We have Nigeria Watch, we have Dele Farotimi, we have Aisha Yusuf, we have Precious, we have so many of them that I don't know of. So I'm calling those names because if an average Nigerian today, young person wake up today, regardless of where he resides in the world, they look forward to one of these platforms towards to set the day off or to shut the day off at night if he's going to bed. So it's the same role. It's just that Sowore was not smart. The fact that up to today, Sahara reporters no more get podcasts of their own. Sahara reporters no get any other. I mean, it's ridiculous. They don't get newspaper. They don't get. So it tells you everything you need to know about going into contract with these grants and NGOs. So now he has found out that attacking Obi directly will not turn the followers around. And then it was easy when it just obeys out there doing this thing. Now it's been the process has been democratized. We won't go attack. So even when Charles was still to give him that credit that popularity is still within the social media and internet, he's trying to say no, it's beyond that. And that is because the internet space has been dominated now by the obedience. So Obi don't escape his reach. Obi has successfully surrendered himself with more aggressive media and propagandas than he ever imagined. Now, they alluded at the fact that the elite are scared, elite being scared. Those motherfuckers ain't scared of nobody. They are no one event that has been planned by the movers and shakers of the country that cancel or change the date or anything. Those guys are not scared. In fact, they love what is going on. They love what is going on because in midst of all this distraction, all this noise, that the Sowores and likes are making. The goal of Tinubu administration, the success of Tinubu administration going forward, is the successful implementation, not just implementation of the tax reform, because that we don't pass that stage. It is the collecting process. That's where we are now. Even in fact, these men have gone beyond that process. But who and who is going to be included in the tax bracket is where the calculation is. Now, because they don't know who to put, but they are more. They are going deep down into the villages. Because the empire, the United States of America, is at war. Third World War is fully in motion, and it needs monies to survive. Hence, if you are paying attention to this platform, you will understand that at the beginning of Bola Tinubu administration, I said pay attention to the people who are coming. Because 2, 3, 4 weeks of the first Bola Tinubu coming in, the opposition were not in Nigeria. Obi and Atiku travel, they were all in Chicago looking for what not. As soon as they come back from Chicago, they directed them to focus on the judiciary. Why the likes of Bill Gates, the likes of Jimmy Diamond, the likes of what the Yoruba name that was the highest Nigerian ranking personnel in Biden administration, Oyewole Abina, young guy who was the deputy secretary to the treasury. He was in Nigeria. In fact, that was the one that said, "Cop, we are here to digitalize everything that has to do with government and business." I think that conversation took place in Lagos Business School. Jimmy Diamond, the Oga Patapata of banking in America, Chase Bank, those guys that every day 5 to 6 trillion they control 5 to 6 million moving around. Those are the people, those are the movers and shakers of this planet fucking head. Those are the people that Adam Smith regard as the masters of mankind, those who are in charge of production, factors of production, how they was literally run. He was in Nigeria, assembled all our elected officials from the vice president down. They sent the president out of the country at that time, if anyone is paying attention, and he gave them order that the current system, as it's going to be implemented, the tax reform and every policy that Bola Tinubu is bringing to bear, you all better fall in line. The time to fuck around is over. That is a private businessman coming to assemble our elected officials. People don't understand what that means. This is not an elected official coming from the United States of America, any other person having a conversation with our elected official. No, a private, just like me Dangote carrying 2 left leg, enter America, gather from JD Vance, gather them, sit down, say, come from today. Now only Dangote cement now we're going to buy. That's exactly what that happened. And guess what? Our opposition are busy dancing like Sowore. People don't understand the implication of that, right? That's why there was no opposition to that bill, literally. You can say there was opposition coming from the north. No, they were bargaining, which is what the democratic process is all about. Big Gate was in Nigeria, literally assembled the same crops of people. The same. And the goal of Big Gates was education, healthcare, agriculture should be handed over to him. And guess what? Anybody should prove me wrong. Dr. Pate, I mean, that's when I'm Minister of Healthcare and Environment. Who they work for before? They pull him out of Bill Gates' office, boom, to come lead you now. So every process was solidified the first 2-3 weeks of Bola Tinubu coming into power. Why Obi and Atiku led their followers to Chicago and to be calling a judicial bullshit. So everything since then on, it's a distraction. So these motherfuckers ain't scared of you. Now, last week, 9 Shell, United States of America, dropped $2 billion. People don't understand what that means. A country that is GDP now less than 300 billion. Somebody carried 2 billion. A company is investing $2 billion. And but it's just why. Like it's normal. It's not normal. That call for national conversation for days, if not weeks. Because what power are they going to control when you are bringing $2 billion? I am saying New York is about $2 trillion economy. If anybody carry $1 billion enter New York, who you be? It's a big deal because they don't ignatize us with these numbers, billion, million. But we don't actually understand what being billion is about. The whole presidency, what now $2 billion, according to Financial Times, leading to 2023, that to become a Nigerian president is $2 billion. And the company just going to invest $2 billion. They are worried about the protest that she will raise. Now, I'm saying that to say that if you invest that kind of money in anywhere in this world, the least you expect is distraction. The least you want to see is to see the economic of that society that you invested on be in shambles. When one riffraff come and say he wants shut the whole economy down just because somebody, hell the fuck no. How much that person worth? Then unfortunately, Nigerians don't realize that Tinubu APC uses Sowore to keep the masses confused. His job is to keep speaking against any oppositions to Tinubu alliance. You are totally right. I think why people will, if you say that out loud in public, why people would disagree with you is because you are saying it exactly how he should be saying. Right? They will tell you, you don't know what you are talking about. We're not trying to process it and reason to see where you are coming from. But if you put it the way I'm putting it, that Sowore is being sponsored by NGOs and outside that, people will not say you are lying. They will want to argue with you. You see how the game work here. But to actually shut every argument down is to say, come on. Now, Leona agrees that Bola Tinubu is an agent. Agent of what? Of the CIA. Who are the CIA working for? On behalf of the business people, men of America, women of America. Now, if you now agree, say, Sowore himself said it with his own mouth when in response to my question that yes, in they accept NGOs donation. What are the NGOs? Who are they working for? They're also working for the businessmen, America, women all over the world. So their source of inspiration, motivation, and all this is coming from one place. They just have different roles. The policies that has been given to Tinubu to implement by the West needs to be implemented, not just implementation. It needs to flourish. How do you do that? You have to create another entity, another movement, another person to be in the face of Nigerians, to just distract them from unnecessary, so that the experts who are brought from every walks of life to serve in this government can implement that policy successfully without any distraction. You see how it works? Now the same role too, the medias, the television, all of them they play. So if you are wondering how The same policy that the US via World Bank is implementing all over the world. Their goal is to tax every fucking human being that breathes. If you are alive, you deserve to be taxed. Either they make money or then they give you money, you need to be taxed. That is the goal. We don't have that kind of conversation in our national TV because those taxes no go pass. If we allow the Nigerians to actually interrogate every policy that put before them, 99% no go pass. So hence you have the likes of Sowore, hence you have media, and you have churches, and you have mosques, and all this entity that are striving in the environment of benevolence, right? Doing good, speaking for justice, civil society of Nigeria, church building schools, church building all this are all an act of what? USAID to distract people for. So if you look now, pay attention to our business class, home and abroad, from Dangote to Otedola to Elumelu to this Yoruba guy from London and everywhere. They are all praising the policy of Bola Tinubu. So the only Nigerians are praising it. Why? They're all all of them are the same. So say Tinubu has no political rival at the moment. Obi's ship has sunk long time ago. Obi can't put popularity again. It doesn't have good strategy. I agree with the first part of this. Tinubu has no political rival. Yes, I agree with that because he's doing well. All the rivals work for the same Oga. So if the man who they choose to lead now is doing well, hence no point. But the other part of your submission is what I disagree with, that Obi ship has sunk long time ago. I disagree with you for obvious reason. One, now the whole obedience started with 4 people tweeting in a room. It turned to 6 million and a polling unit. So, uncle, you see why I don't agree? That's why I say, I understand what you mean. You know, you are expecting the momentum to still be there. I say, no, just calm down. Obi is re-strategizing, using a different strategy. Now, I could be wrong. I'm not pushing back so that to say you are wrong, you know. But as time goes on, we'll see where the pendulum swing. I think what Obi is doing is taking into cognizance what he has comes to realize after the election, which is the political party he chose to contest in was compromised. That's why the likes of their former campaign director said, Okupe, so recipes had to go. You know, just begin now. At the end of the day, you see even the Abore being the party chairman, you know, everything begin to play out. So what I think Obi is doing is not to expose his presidential ambition that early again. So what they are doing, that's why there's so much pressure coming from every angle. Join us. Where they go? No party. Nah, leave the man. Getting a party is no issue. But getting a party that cannot be easily compromised is where the focus is. I'm not saying cannot be compromised, but that cannot be easily compromised. Because my guy, Daniel, if Obi pick any party now and they make you the party chairman, I swear to God, you know, go last 6 months before you go you go give in, because they will come at you from every angle with everything. to what? Leak strategies and information to the opposition party. Not necessarily to come out or work again. No. Your goal is so all those things are what Obi is saying and is waiting till the 11th hour before he announce. If he announce a political party at the 11th hour, you will see what that time you will know that the obedient movement is see there. It will pick up fast that in a way, I think, I don't know, maybe not me just the read for myself. If I did in position, that's what I would do. You have to bombard the system with so many activities at the same time. So I don't really agree that the momentum is gone. Let's wait and see. Daniel, don't forget, even OT won't support Obi. It doesn't matter, right? It is not the support of OT that make Obi get 6 million. No, it was the other way around. It was because of Obi that OT won. So all these people who are leaving Obi, they no matter, they are inconsequential. None of them, in fact, none of them, you can say, now because this guy work with Obi make the movement. No, all of them came to prominence. All of them gained. Nobody from Kenneth Okonkwo to everyone that was elected achieved that because of Obi, not the other way around. So I don't think Oti leaving has anything to do with that. Obi support are still going to be there. That's because everyone is Barawo. So they can't hustle now. So they can't chop. So they don't go. They know say the next, I don't be surprised. The likes of Kenneth Okonkwo accept whatever they are accepting now to also be a sabotage, to sabotage the other camp. So when it comes to Obi Livan, Obi not the same product like Sowore, like Tinubu. It's just that they are coming from different angles. They were recruited at different points. Tinubu was recruited because of his okay, this is me jumping to assumption, conclusion, procrastinating, whatever you want to do. Because of his obesity and criminality, they say na drug dealers. The skill of a drug dealer is unmatched anywhere. I don't give a fuck where you get your PhD from. Unless you are not a mafia series or you are not in depth into studying their way of life. Those motherfuckers are the experts of how the world works. Go and read the 48 laws of power. For me, I think that's what he saw, and his financial acumen was a financial student and working. So get that. Why Obi is a prudent businessman that appears not to be too polluted among the Nigerian, not even among all Nigerian walks of life, from the political class themselves to the experts themselves to the intellectuals to the average Agbero on the street. That's one thing you cannot use against Obi. So maybe it has a value. It could be recruited from that. And again, you guys, a financial guru to be a chairman of bank and to be a trader and succeed at that level. There's something special about you. Of course, Sowore again. Sowore, it was recruited based on his trajectory. This is a man who saw the system for what it is from day one. As a young adult, he knew something was wrong. He just followed his guts. And he never looked back. I think that's something. that's a talent. That's something that not everybody has. So everybody get why they were recruited by the same big brother. So I saying all that to say those who are recruiting them know how to prop followership behind them. Nobody will go and challenge me say, oh, big followership is organic. It's not, it's hybrid. It's a combination of the disdains we see on the streets and the infusion of propaganda via the available instruments, social media, news media, whatever, movies, musics, you know, or whatnot. Now, another thing that come up is the comparison between Nigerian protesters and that of Madagascar and Nepal. What people don't understand is that now these same people who is responsible for the success of Qatar protests is also responsible for the success of Nepal protests, is also responsible for the success of Arab Spring protests. They are the one responsible for the people in power in Nigeria. So you cannot protest against your own interests. You can only protest to distract people. The day Nigeria will have a nationalist president, a nationalist government, that time you will know whether the protest will succeed or you know will succeed. Because it succeeded under Goodluck Jonathan. Why did it succeed under Goodluck Jonathan? Because the power that be to have come to the conclusion to say, "Come, this man must go." So that's why the Reverend Father, the Imam, the Nobel Prize winner, the presidential hopeful, all have to be backed by USID to go against the establishment. So that's what is happening in Madagascar. They dared to have a national thinking, and the society was mobilized against it. It's called Color Revolution, Abi. The same thing with Nepal. And this government don't they move away from what we want. Let's use our instruments of organizing hybrid protests and throw them out. That's why they always tell us if everything that we talked about on national news and media, it is not coming from us. It's coming from the owners and finance of those platforms. So it's as simple as that. So say the Nigerian protest is not what is happening in Madagascar and Nepal is not happening in Nigeria because that is the government, the system, the power that we want. As simple as that. And need to read no more minute to it. So Sowore hinted on next protest. And that's where I asked question. He sure said the guy he could see gather steam momentum for 2027. Now I think Daniel, this is where you should I will agree if you rephrase this your Obi not getting momentum again. The question should be asked, you still say Sowore, or maybe you don't already conclude that Sowore is gone. You don't when I mean Sowore is gone in terms of him able to churn out voters, gather momentum again. But he's still going. He said yes in next protest. So he has organized more than 10 protests. Still, shit is not adding up. His grant is threatened. I don't know where I go get another grant or he go get as much as he used to if you know if he gather momentum again. Now, let's go to, he said organic, near organic. Call. He get any Nigeria where they stand on ideology. Everyone look for opportunity to cash out. Child, I don't know why you talk this thing that is so that's our reality. I wish I can tell say come. You are not right. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. You just spotted, man. You said it. So it is very I think I don't know if I want to go back to Nigerian history for what little that I know about the Nigerian history, the few times that organic protests took place happened was about women riots. That was the last one. They actually revolted against the establishment and they took beating for it and they succeeded. Since then, every other protest was sponsored and backed by foreign interests. Every one of them. So the biggest one of our recent memory, Protest for Democracy, to push the military people out of office, is the same USAID that sponsor it. If there's anything to go by, some of the forefront soldiers joining in from the journalistic angle was on Dr. Damage's show about 2-3 weeks ago. per Acadia. He admitted that all the hustle, everything that they did, pure from an innocent, you know, standpoint, that they believe they actually fought for the better system, better Nigeria, and they succeeded. But it was after they succeeded, they came to realize that come on, other than they coming out genuinely to say, to see things for what it is, every other thing that proceeded is backed and sponsored by USAID. But I'm pretty sure even at that time, people like Igbo Smoker, like, of course, Fela was there, was telling them that come, here's not the way to go. But they know. So it's always like that. And I kind of felt Acadia remorse and his, his understanding deeply, because he is one of the few who went into the streets genuinely believing that he can contribute to the change. But the other group of people who knowingly know what they are doing, which is fall into the category of the people that you are talking about, Daniel, that there's no ideology. Everybody just they look for opportunity, right? There are people who say, man, this is a way out. They took it. And they never look back. They're not even sent even after they realize that, man, I fuck up. No. So there are people like that too. So genuine protests, I don't see anyone. Any any individual who is in power that actually want to drift away from the USAID ideology is either they kill them or they take them out of power. If you go read the biography of Murtala Muhammad, that's what happened to him. He came to power and decided to say, you know what, I think we should have our own mind. Not everything that is dictated by the Washington DC that we should fall for. Boom. They take him out. Good luck is another person. Right? But even though his ways are moved today now, it's hard for you to stand with that argument, right? Because he's now one of the ambassadors of USAID. He's like a senior man for that college. So the Wayo protests are all part of the game. Sowore is a bloody millionaire now. Yeah. So now hustle. I agree. Totally agree with you. Blessed, I never see you for here before, but I see you for other places. Anyway, maybe I don't see clearly. I've seen you everywhere except my platform. Anyway, welcome. There was the co-protest after the Aba Women riot that was organized. Okay. Thank you. I now I have to go and look that up. I have to go and do this. I'm not saying you are lying, but I think maybe it's one of the events I still need to go study. I need to go read about. You're right. That would be interesting. See, these are the things that we know they see for our national news or history. Thank blessed. I like that. I like that angle. See, it shows that you understand what I'm talking about, that I'm not just rambling. I'm happy that you know, as even Daniel too. Daniel is totally understand my way of seeing, analyzing politics. Some people don't understand, So I'm happy. I'm happy, blessed, and Daniel, that you got my point. See, when I say organic, so a lot of people don't even understand what I mean. They just believe all the protests where they see for trees during the obedience. These are organic. No, they just be like AI generated. I'm not saying they're AI generated. They are real people, real events, but the motivation behind them is foreign. So the co-protest, that's something worth spending time and resources for. Now, make I see if I go to wind down. The next thing that I took from those shenanigans is the protest as a solution or awareness. I am that one person that don't believe that protest is necessary will lead to any solution. It is a very viable tool for awareness. But again, one can argue, say it depends on how you carry out the protest, right? Mahatma Gandhi is famous for his non-compliance protest. On just Don't just do anything for the British people again. They occupy the government, they occupy everywhere. All I expected from you as an Indian citizen, just don't give a fuck. Don't go work, no see you. I mean, don't do anything. The government, British government collapsed. They took off. Of course, it took time. That's what I'm saying. That all this thing now. Again, one can argue if you read biography of Muhammad Gandhi, you will come to the conclusion that him not using violence, it's not because it's not viable, but it's because at that time it is not the only option available to him. So he explored other options, and one of those options is not compliance. Don't just compliance with the foreign government again. Just like in Nigeria today, which I advocated for the Saudi people. Instead of sitting at home, don't just fuck with these people. Just go and buy your business. The same thing. If Nigeria wants to change, now just say we don't fuck with the government anymore. I no go work, I no go church, and I mean just the only repercussion to that is that you no go get money, you no go buy car, you no go get house. But all those things really don't matter. Hungry no go beat you. My brother once tell me if now food, none of us are live village. All of us were there our village because now there food there. But we are in the village because we want to dress, we want to wear suit, we want to wear nice shoe, we want to wear watch, we want to wear this, nonsense. That's why that's why we didn't comply. Right? How would they pay my rent? How would they buy this? That's why we see they go work. In the midst of with all the harshness, we see they bear up because we've been conditioned to think that success is material things. Now, until we get it into our skull, it go hard. So compliance. Then the last of Martin Luther King, who also choose non-violence. It again is because the time they realize that if they choose violence, that would be the end of their race. They will be exterminated and nothing will happen. They know. So they study what is available to them and they went for it. Right? We are just going to come as our hold hands. If we see how kill. About protests. See, we are not talking about Nigeria of 1770. Today, Nigeria na barao. Any genuine Nigerian no fee get financial power to make a change. Yes, because even though the likes of all these media is trying to take away our attention from what, as far as I'm concerned, we there alive now. We should spend our time to study USAID. We don't understand that the Nigerian today is made up of USAID. Yeah, one of the first office of USAID was established in Nigeria in 1963, 3 years after independence, 2 years after USAID was formed. So everything, our educational curriculum, our churches, our government, everything that you think about is how they program us to think. But Marley said they think we only know what they teach us. But again, the same Bob Marley say we have to what? Emancipate ourselves from mental slavery. And the outcome of emancipating yourself from mental slavery is what some people categorize as what? The revolution will not be televised. When they say the revelation will not be televised, nobody say we no go see them for TV. Hell no, not even today that every day, today was nobody say on TV, but what real time it happen as we see it. That's not really what they mean by the revolution will not be televised. You have to see it from where Bob Marley is coming from, right? He said that the West think that we only know what they teach us, and to some extent it's true. That is why we act accordingly. We act to see for their validation. We If we know if we speak like them, we've not arrived. We not dress like they walk like they travel to the. I mean, those are all what they mean. But until we emancipate ourselves from that, which is the revolution has to take place from here. That's why anything that is taking place in your brain cannot be seen by camera, so cannot be televised. So if you cannot see something that is taking place here, even now that they are trying, with the likes of Elon Musk being at the arrowhead of what chip implementation, right? But if they cannot see the emancipation that is coming from here, it will never be televised. So until we emancipate ourselves from 62 years of what? Constantly working on our thinking, which is what Carter Woodson says in Miseducation of what? The Negro. If you control a man's thinking, you ain't got to worry about what he or she do or does. It will carry out excellently well, even there is no way he or she will find a way to do it. So I agree with you. The Nigeria of today is Barawe, and nobody who genuinely Nigerian that financial like it's true, because 99%, I would tell you, 4 out of every 5 Nigeria, it is what is a product of USAID in its thinking. So how do you defeat that? So we have to embark on education, re-educating ourselves, so we can emancipate ourselves up here. And when we hit the streets to implement that emancipation, they will not see it coming. That's exactly what is theming. I hope I'm making sense anyway. I understand you 100%, but I am scared. I'm scared to believe, because there is no hope for us. Yeah, because your lack of hope for us is not out of place. It's not that you are stupid or you are crazy, you are foolish, you don't know what you're talking about. But I will say it is because you are looking at solution in your lifetime. It's not going to happen. The kind of solution, the kind of Nigeria you want to see, no be us who are living today, we brought it to fruition. We are already, our job now is to emancipate ourselves from mental slavery, is to go in that song where Bob Marley said, they think we only know what they did to us. He went ahead to say, we know more than they teach us. So our job, we that are alive today, this generation that are alive today, is to decode that miseducation that Carter wants to talk about in the miseducation of the Black Negro. We have to emancipate ourselves. We have to we have to understand that we all been indoctrinated for the past 63 years. I've been 62 years by the USAID. So our job, the least we can do, is to avail ourselves from all that, so that our next generation, we will teach them different. We will let them understand that this is where we are. This is why we could not go beyond this stage. But if you people can push beyond this stage, this is what is await of you. Somebody said the life that you are looking for is at the other side of that thing that you are unwilling to do. If you're an athlete and you are a 400-meter runner, you understand that there's an invisible fence at the back of 250 meters. Your capacity to break through that invisible fence after 250 meters will give you power. Will give you the results that you work for. So oh shit, I wish they're not go, because of these videos that are coming, they're not go. So until we understand that, we do that. So Daniel, it is not about us. We have now. It's either we fail, but not making an attempt to emancipate ourselves, thereby leaving the next generation to continue, or we try and build a foundation. We not finish them, but we have to start for the next generation to continue. So if you look it from that angle, from that perspective, that we necessarily don't have the capacity to bring the change that we desire, then you have to start now working for the next generation. So let's start working for ourselves. I think that's the problem of today. We that are alive today, old and young, we are working for ourselves. The Nigeria that we inherited, it's not for us. It is for us to pass on to the next generation. But how, the manner in which we pass it, it will make a great difference moving forward. So I always use the analogy of a story. Nigeria is a story, right? A continuous story. Now it is our turn to either continue that story or end the story. If we end the story, that means we are going to start another story. And what kind of story do we want to start? I think for me, that's where we need to see things from. Again, I could be wrong, but it's better to be wrong than not to try at all. So the Wayo protests are all part of the game here. So there was the co-protest. Okay, you said that. Thank you, blessed. Co-protest. We are not talking about co-protest. No, be 90s. Oh, I don't think it's in the 70s. In the 90s. You don't forget that when Enugu, when they start to rely on that self. If I'm not mistaken. Let me Google it instead of Enugu co of what? Enugu co-protest, right? That's how you phrase it? No, you know, say Enugu is a co-protest. Co-protest in Nigeria. Wait a minute. 1949, I think. Historical event like the 1949 Ave Valley Massacre, where miners were killed during a strike over wage and working condition, or more recent protests related to the environmental and social impact of the coal mining. Yeah, that was 1949, I think. It's called the Ava Valley Massacre. Blessing, maybe you could shine light more on that if I'm wrong, but make I stop to the talk and make I follow now. Wait, I think it's just one thing that I needed to talk about on that. I talked about the protest solution awareness. So Generation Next, which is exactly what we are talking about, right? The change will come from Generation Next also. Okay. The co-protest is Daniel, the co-protest happened in the 40s. You're right. See? Make I follow now for comments because I'm more not keep up with our speed. I've been now keep up with me. The co-protest is one of the factors that led to our independence. Great, I agree that. See, I like people who analyze events from historical perspective. It's very liberating. That's why I like a man called Steve Bannon. I like historian. I like people who teach. I mean, just go back and hey, Daniel, I'm not knocking you up. I just that it would make sense, you know, because if you don't know, they say if you don't know where they go, you know where they come from. If you know where we are coming from, we will know where to go. Because the fact that they didn't teach all these things in our school, which is at the foundation of our history, our independence, it's sad. He's in 1979, 1970. I agree. I understand what you are saying, my guy. But you see, like don't see it like that. Don't see it like that. No, 1940 is not 1770. Yeah, it's a big. I like this conversation that is shaping up. There is a big difference. The 1940 is the 20th century, while the 70s is 18th century. I like that. That's why when Trump come to power, I say, make una go back to look history. We understand what Trump they do, what it's about. I like how you say exactly our 1940, because our agitation to freedom be that this 20 is leading to something. Come in the 30s. Is that going to be freedom? Is that going to be liberation, economical freedom, or we are going to be worse off? Which is what Blessed is talking about. No, okay. See, okay. See, I like people who know book like me. Wait, you're being sarcastic, yeah, which make perfect sense, right? Which make perfect sense. Now, for petroleum to dry up, or the world no longer need petroleum. That is the only time every ethnic group will want to protect their little something to survive. I totally see your point, but I don't think the fuel, the crude oil will dry out before we get to that point. I think the population will override the petroleum. Once we plenty pass our food, while go there. So I think we will get to the overpopulation first over our resources than the other way around. Blessed. I need you didn't get, so the sarcasm was worse place, and I think Daniel too get what you are saying. I get. Oh, sorry about that. I think I didn't get the sarcasm. If petroleum dry up, AI takes over. But okay. AI is powered by petroleum, though. How that? Because that's why I say all these protests, all this nonsense, we go regret them. Because what you just said about this AI, we never even get light, like electricity to power our generation. AI demand more power, like 10 times over than what the world is currently experiencing, currently had. We will not get at all. So the idea that if all our petroleum dry up, AI will take over. AI, if our petroleum dry up, we not go get AI be that though. We go get AI, but it's going to be very expensive because we don't get leverages. There are currently data being built in the Niger Delta area. We don't know the station they go on. Why by the data center that has been where they built for cities in America, cities are going against that because it's not only making the electricity costs go higher, is polluting their water. That's a different conversation entirely. So Daniel, this your take. You get as a bill. It's very deep. Then they will come to your village and build data center. My guy, why our brain they run concurrently the same like this? The data center is already being built. Blessed. Wait, make I fact check myself. Data center being built in Nigeria. You see, multiple new data center and expansions are underway in Nigeria, driven by significant investment from international and domestic companies. See, make it no be say, make it no be say now let me you know waiting. I just talk. Make I tell you, make I tell you. Oh, make I show us. Oh, how this is that? Make I show us. Make I. So now you see, make it no be say na blessed. You see, say how your brain they work. That all these distraction by show will they affect those who pay attention to signal rather than noise. So what you just said is already happening. See, then they will start building. They will start coming to your village and build data center. Right? That's what you said. They will manufacture something that will power AI. They don't know I'm already now. Maybe solar system. The people think ahead. Yes, they are really fighting data centers. Yeah, they are fighting data. These are multi-billion-dollars fights. So you see, blessed. You see why are they always versed? You see me for Dr. Damage and every other place that they always versed because we seems to pay attention to yesterday news. Anything when you see for your headline today, they don't already pass. See, several contractors have been involved in their construction building in ITB Nigeria, Vital Construction Limited, Gapago. Now, all these are international companies. Google put it differently. Google put this thing differently. Wait. Make a. You see them? You see there? These things are dangerous, not to the environment, to the water, your electricity will go up, all these things. You see them? But let me go. What's going on? I'm not getting. See, my problem with all these search engine, they can do whatever the fuck they want. They give us so MTN has over 250 million contractor, a new data center in Nigeria located in the cage MTN. See? At a time when countries they fight this thing, Nigeria's we are being distracted. Nobody, you know, ever see this thing, this headline for Nigerian news one day. No, you say you doubt. What do you doubt? What are you doubting? Bring me up, bring me in. So you see, this one at Bloomberg. Nigeria is drawing millions of dollars into a new data center prepared by the various online habits of its young tech savvy. See the excuse and the use. How will you kick against that? Where they don't frame around young people? How they will use the young people fight you. That's the goal. So test high population and a push to enhance artificial intelligence to power the next wave of its digital boom, reinforcing its position as one of Africa's top technology hub. Global and technical operation, including Equinix in International, Microsoft Corp, MTN Nigerian Communication PLC, Rack Center, LTN Nigeria, Open Access Data Center are inviting nearly $1 billion in next generation facilities designed to handle advanced computing workload and serve the continent's rapidly expanding online population. Over the next decade, I expect AI workloads to drive not just capacity expansion, but infrastructural diversification, said Wale Edu, Equinox Managing Director for West Africa, which is investing 140 million. She's in our people that they use Abi. Investing 115 million to expand its Nigerian operation. As a Nigerian works toward his ambiguous 90% digital literacy targeted by 2027. 90%. Oh, now to tax now, they go tax your head finish. You will see expansionately more user generating data and requiring AI enhanced services. It's currently digital literacy is at 50% rate. AI's appetite for computing power is colliding with Nigerian demographic surge. The country, nearly 240 million people, with a median age of 18 and driven a data explosion through mobile service, internet habits, gaming, video streaming, and remote work. that fueled demand for faster, more resilient digital infrastructure as companies ditch non-premium system for cloud and hybrid model, spurring a wave of data center built closer to user, designed to handle AI workloads and link local computing power to global network. This momentum signaled a deeper economic shift. Abedin Yusuf, General Manager for Microsoft Nigeria and Ghana, powered by a youthful population, expanding internet access, and a vibrant entrepreneurial ecosystem. Nigeria is emerging as a digital leader in Africa. So Nigerian youthful population, data. So these people are 10 years into the game. We are worrying about Obi, Sowore, Tunubu, and the rest of them. Why can't they go to Sambisa Forest to build which is say Aboki no get sense? I see, Nigeria will become a two-state solution, if we're not careful, because people are not paying attention. The last 2 months alone, there are events that happened that people are not paying attention to. Goodluck Jonathan Foundation hold a democracy dialogue. They took it to Ghana the same day where Bola Tinubu lift ban of Governor Simi Bulaye Fubara, whatever that name is. The same day. But that is not the catch. At that event in Ghana, there is no northern political elite that was there. The only person that is prominent that attended that event from the north was Bishop Bishop name Matthew Kuka, who, as far as I'm concerned, Nanubi Aboki, was the only person. Yes, he was the keynote speaker. That don't count. That now one event. Sowore protest for Nnamdi Kanu is supposed to be a national call, national awareness. I don't see any northern activists will join up. Neither did he take his campaign leading to the protest to any part of the north. Abuja no counts. You think say they no understand waiting they happen. What do you think? There is massacre, there's killing, ethnic cleansing, people being driven away from their land. What do you think is happening? Blessed. Now, the other side of data, now that they put for Sambisa, which is what? GMO farming, mining. So, data might not be centered in Sambisa forest, and it will be more expensive to put data center in it because of the weather is too hot. So if you are building a data center, you have to be building a separate thing that will be generating cooling to make sure the thing they go. So that's more expensive, but that is not suitable for that kind of investment. There's a better place for that investment, which is the south. The best investment for the north that will be taken forcefully is farming and what? Mining, which is what is going on. They no one will talk about that one. They want to talk about Christian genocide. So, blessed, you are saying something, but at the same time, you are moving too fast. You forget to just take a chill pill, smoke a blunt, and just recap and think a little bit deeper. You understand all this noise, all this over. You go wake up tomorrow, protest for this. You go wake up tomorrow, VDF, the other. Is to make sure the Nigerian you people never pay attention to what we are discussing. Last 2 years, I started using an extreme example, but to saying that even though we miss industrial revolution, if you pay attention to Obi motto, is production to consumption. Once we start, let's say, oh, we manage to get ourselves to that point that we'll be producing. So factories will be emerging everywhere. What people are not paying attention is that if you have a factory in Nigeria today that is employing 100 people in a factory line, 5-10 years from now, where we be fully immersed into that way of industrialization, those 100 people will become one person and a dog in that factory, because the 99% of the people will now be replaced by automation, by AI and robotic AI, which is physical AI. The person, that one person there that is there, is employed. Now, the dog that is there, he's there to make sure that one employee no temper with the automated system. Why the person was employed to feed the dog? The person is not put in the factory to have any effect. No. He's put there to feed the dog. Why the dog is there to make sure he don't fuck around. So now that might be extreme. What I'm saying in essence is that where we are having 100 workers in the factory right now, my brother, is going to be like 10-20 people at a time when the population is increasing. It's not decreasing. So if you have come across a phrase called the useless generation, which I've used in my platform years now, that's what we are talking about. You are going to have millions of Nigerians just walking around, educated, healthy, but ain't got shit to do. There's nothing for them to do. They don't even need you for farm. You are not needed because the farm now is automated too. You are not needed. You're not needed in the farm, in the factory, office come. Your brain cannot match up with what AI is today. So if you are not needed in the field, in the open, you are not needed in the factory, you are not needed in the office. Where they need you. If you don't have a lifestyle, the idea of talent is gone, because talent is now being replaced by robots and artificial intelligence. No matter how talented you are, so talent is being replaced by what? Lifestyle. You can only market your lifestyle, no longer your talent, but later your talent is extremely unique and cannot be replicated by a robot. God is football, basketball, running. They are gone. They are gone. They've been replaced. Unless you are not paying attention to the cyber economy, because that is where this thing is being practicalized right now. You are not paying attention to the cyber economy. If you live in America, if you live in Austin, I can boldly say 25 to 30% of the taxis on the road are autonomous. Nobody they drive there. They drive themselves. They carry people up and down. So gradually, you are not just becoming useless to the society, you are becoming useless to yourself. So if your lifestyle is not unique enough to be able for you to market it, you are gone. If you want to have a broader understanding of what I'm saying, because of time, if you go on an Uber website, you will see for those underworlds, you will see lifestyle. If you click on that lifestyle, that's where people market their life. Okay, let's say me right now. Say let's use existing example. Or let me use myself right now. Say I turn this place to like a studio that, like normal studio, indulge in what you like. I smoke live, people, there's a beer for people to drink. So, and you come into, say I did Austin, Texas. You find yourself in Austin, Texas for an event, for a conference, for whatever. Then after that, you have few hours to days to do whatever the heck you want. The first thing that will hit you is your interests. What are my interests? What interests me? Once you figure, interest, I like to just sit down where people sit down and discuss current events, talk about politics, smoke a little blunt, take a little sit down, just regular life. I like to be in that environment. So you go there and say, you put it and search it. All our politics will pop up, say, all our politics, this is where you can get this kind of your interest certified. So of course you will ring me up. There, me already not set my setup. So you just go to my index. Say, to come and spend 1 hour in my studio, smoke a blunt, drink beer, it will cost you $100 per hour. You pay in, you come in. Now me, I'm marketing my lifestyle. I'm not talent now, not because I know how to talk or no, but because I add other things to it. That is my lifestyle. That's what I do. I'm not pretending that I'm not putting up a smoke setting because no, that's my lifestyle. So you identify your lifestyle, you are able to market it. That's how you survive. Academically, you are a genius in terms of developing a software, a programmer par excellence. That's the only way you can actually be useful, not just to yourself, to the society. So that's where we are going. So those of us who patronize cyber economy, who live on cyber, I live on cyber economy for the past 3 years. I'm not doing 100%, but that's how if I look for, if I need money and I have to go and I need work, I go online. There's so many websites that you just put whatever. I do construction. I'm a striper. I stripe parking lots, stripe garages, stripe roads. Those who live in a big city, maybe outside Nigeria, will understand that. Whenever I come here, I begin actually know that such thing. So I specialize in striping parking lots, where you park your car, garages, pretty much under construction. So if I need job, anywhere I go in America, that's why people say, you leave your car, driver. Anywhere I go, just for me to go online and put whoever is, I put my service out there. I'm a striper. Anyway, before you know, I see like 10 company people who are looking for such event for services. I call up, say, hey, I'm available. I'm interested in this. Okay, how much you are? Blah, blah, blah. That's how I live for the past 3 years. Right? That's a cyber war. And in today, in America, anything you want, anything you can do during the day is online. Anything you can do for money during the day is online. You can do it anywhere. So again, it's getting bigger. It's going international. That's why people in Nigeria who work in New York, work any company anywhere in the world. So that is becoming the norm of the day. So if you know go farm because it's been taken over by big corporation, if you know go factory because rope is being they don't autonomize and it's being robotic now, what you will do, you go online. You are a bricklayer, you know how to do bricklayer work, go online. You go see one bricklayer where they look for an assistant to help finish a job for Opela, finish her for Meduguri, finish her for Ikeja. You go wherever you are. That's a different conversation that I think we should spend more time. I will spend more time on talking about how you can take advantage of the next world with the competition that we are facing, which is AI and there's artificial intelligence and the physical robot. So you say, am I serious? Yeah, so I assume you are talking about Sambisa and the rest. Yeah. Make I blow your mind. Let me blow your mind. Let's use make I say Sambisa go. I'm an international company. Let's see. That's not what I are. Okay. Make I take a. When they say some, make I no use make I no use Sambisa forest. Let me use just for on the state and say yeah. But that would be I hate this make I do make I do well how this grog they work. Fuck. Ah. That's it. Just give me a minute. Oh. I need to respond. I need to respond to something real quick.
Your call has been forwarded to. Call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available. To reach is not available.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. And I don't know where you did. Make walk through. But just give me a minute. I miss something. Let me see if I will. Let me respond to. Oh shit. Fuck. Mm. Oh, shit. The heck again. Oh, po, 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 po. Ah. Sorry, I missed a few message and calls, so needed to respond. Um, okay, see that Uber, this thing where you go fee. I want to show you in real time if you still there. I need to sign all this bullshit. Oh. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, listen, my attention is divided. I miss some. We're not going to do this. Let's say I use it there. Anybody who's there, I beg. I have to take a leave. I need to go take care of some business. My attention is divided. So thank you for your time. We spent like appreciate your like, share. And so when I come on again, you will be the first to be notified. Until then, blessed Daniel and Jama and every other person. Appreciate you, man. Thanks. Ciao, ciao. Talk to you some other time. Yeah.